On News Hour tonight, Boko Haram launches rocket attack on 3 Borno communities as President Buhari pays official visit. Farmers and other commuters resort to train in Niger over fear of abduction. Family of late Sylvester Oromoni criticized bail granted to suspects. And on the foreign scene, negotiations on Iran nuclear deal talks to resume December 27th. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Hour. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Now the news in detail. Islamic State in West Africa province, ISWAP, has launched multiple rocket attacks on Maiduguri, Borno State capital. The insurgents launched the attacks on Thursday as President Muhammadu Buhari visits the city to inaugurate projects executed by Governor Babagana Zulum-led administration. The explosives landed in several areas, which include Ngumari, Bulunkutu, Ajilari and Ayafe communities within the metropolis. Reports say the insurgents launched the attack from the outskirts of Auno, which is about 15 kilometers away from the city. Meanwhile, casualty figure is yet to be ascertained, but many houses were destroyed. The president is on a one-day official visit to the state.
This morning, we were sitting at the frontage of our house. Then we heard a loud noise. We thought it was a jet.
Wannan karan yana tashi sai muka kalla hayaki ya bulbule wannan wajen a zahirin gaskiya mutanen anguwa gaba ɗaya hankalin su ya tashi.
Then we had explosion and huge dust followed. When we look around, 2 people were already dead on the spot.
Muka tarar da wata kawar mu mai suna Walida, Allah ya karbi rayuwarta da kuma mutane 2 sun samu rauni. Muna roƙon wannan gwamnati mai alfarma ta taimaka ta agaza. We urge
the government to intervene and rebuild and destroy homes.
Wannan ibtila'in ya afka kansu da ta taimaka musu don abin da za a ci ma yau ana gagara balle a ce na gobe ta taimaka musu wannan gidan da suka samu wato asarori ta taimaka ta duba gidan nan nasu a taimaka a gyara musu.
Meanwhile, President Buhari said his administration will hit hard on the nation's enemies that intend to undermine the integrity of Nigeria. The president stated this during an official visit to Borno State to commission some key projects. The president commissioned key projects such as the Tijani Bolori Memorial Day Secondary School and Customs Roundabout Flyover, as well as the Muhammadu Indimi Center for Distance Learning Center at the University of Maiduguri. President Buhari said the government has been receiving military hardware from foreign countries and the country is ready to hit on the country's enemies.
And have started receiving military hardware from the United States, from aircrafts, helicopters, armored cars, and we are going to be very, very hard on them. The biggest problem, which I said Nigerians should please judge this administration, is what was the condition when we came in? What is the condition now? When we came in, the people of the Northeast here knows better than anybody. Now oil has almost become irrelevant, but we thank God that oil is now discovered in the country, in Bauchi and Gombe, and that will help to balance the politics of oil in the country.
Gunmen have attacked a mosque at Tella town in Gasso local government area of Taraba State, abducting 4 worshippers. A resident of Tella, Suleiman Rabiu, told Daily Trust that the gunmen, about 12 in number, surrounded the mosque at about 7:12 p.m. and abducted worshippers who were observing Isha prayers. Locals say the gunmen, after disrupting the prayer session, led out the worshippers from the mosque at gunpoint, adding that the gunmen later released 1 person and took the remaining to an unknown location. Among those abducted are Wan Yahaya, Aminu Dali and Alhaji Hussaini, who is the chairman of grain dealers in the area. Within the last 3 weeks, more than 25 persons, mostly traders and farmers, have been abducted. Spokesperson of the Taraba Police Command, DSP Usman Abdullahi, confirmed the mosque incident but did not give any details. Meanwhile, bandits have killed at least 8 persons and abducted 17 women in Faskari local government area in Katsina State. The Deputy Speaker, Katsina State House of Assembly and member representing Faskari constituency, Alhaji Tafoki, confirmed this to newsmen in the state on Wednesday. Tafoki lamented that the area has been under continuous attacks by bandits in the last 5 days, noting that among those killed include a man who was attacked, killed and set ablaze in his car, and called on the state government to redouble efforts to ensure adequate security in the state. Abdullahi Ahmadi gives an update.
3 villages of Musa local government area of Katsina State, that is Alhazawa, Kawayan Madu, and Babangida Maikuri, came under attack last night by bandits. In the process, 5 people were shot, 2 were killed on the spot, and the remaining 3 were referred to Federal Medical Center Katsina for further medication. And over 200 cows and 80 sheep were wrestled. Most of the villages have been deserted, and of course, a greater percentage of those that are living in the villages are women and children to neighboring towns of Musawa, Molompashi, and Matazu local government areas where they are taking refuge. And of course, you see, these villages are hard to reach areas. They are inaccessible because they don't have roads. And that is why they always come under attack, and they find it very difficult to receive any support or assistance from security personnel. Even though, according to local communities around these villages that were attacked last night, police in Musawa have done their best to ensure that they have reached those areas. But unfortunately, they couldn't make it because of inaccessibility, lack of access road to those villages. They also commended the divisional police officer for conveying the victims to Musawa Hospital. When I contacted the public relations officer of Katsina State Police Command, SP Jamboisa, he neither responded to my call or the text messages I sent to him. But these people are seriously complaining that for the past 2-3 weeks, hardly a night passes without being attacked by bandits. So they are calling on the government, especially Katsina State government and the federal government of Nigeria, to come to their aid to provide enough security personnel to ensure the safety of their lives and property.
And still on matters of security, farmers, traders and other commuters are relying on rail transport system to move goods and services from Minna to Kaduna. Rising security and abduction of travelers on the road leaves many with no option than using Nigeria Railway Corporation mass transit system. Dashan Husseina Usman has more.
Increased activities of bandits within and around Niger State has made plying the roads very risky. This has stifled activities of farmers and traders as many are robbed of their means of livelihood. So far, the narrow gauge train travels to and from Minna to Kaduna on Sundays, Mondays and Thursdays, with future plans to commence operations to other stations.
Our district covers from Jeba to Kakao. That's the boundary between Northern District and Northwestern District. And basically for the moment, we run an MTT mass transit train from Minna here to Kaduna. That's our terminating station, while the originating station is from Minna here. In terms of patronage, in terms of our movement, I think we are good for now. And with time, we intend to commence another service, all things being equal. Probably by next month, we intend starting another service from Minna here to Akere, Kutuwenji, which plans are still ongoing. And that's where the Niger State are coming in to partner with NROC. So by the time we reach a reasonable conclusion, we'll commence the service.
Many say it is easier to move large quantities of products in rail wagons because it is cheaper, safer, and is less influenced by bad weather and road congestion. Traders are calling on government to increase operations to accommodate more passengers and also to reduce the volume of traffic on the roads.
Back then, we had options of moving volumes of products as trains were available, but now it's just one train. That's why the coaches are congested. An additional train will help elevate our issues.
Sometimes when we are passing, we go see some bandits at main roads, at this rail road. They are standing there, they are waving us. Sometimes they go carry gun, show us for up. Like say they want shoot, but they don't go shoot. So we just risky our life because of we don't have any option to that is why.
I frequently travel by train, but my plea to government is for them to increase train services because the roads are honestly not safe.
The return of rail transportation in Nigeria has provided direct and indirect jobs for people living around train stations. Darshan Hussaina Usman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're still watching Trust TV News Hour. Coming up after the break. Travelers vaccinated against COVID-19 at Motor Park. This and more after the break. Stay with us. The board and management of Media Trust Limited invites the general public to its annual Daily Trust Dialogue, themed 2023, The Politics, Economy and Insecurity. Date, 20th January 2022. Location, NAF Conference Center and Suites, Abuja. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Chairman of the occasion, former Head of State, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, GCFR. Guest Speaker, Governor of Kaduna State, Malan Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai. Guest Speaker, Governor of Ebonyi State, Engineer David Umahi. Guest Speaker, former Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mrs. Ifueko Omoigui Okauru. Moderator, Executive Director, Daria Media Nigeria Limited, Kadaria Ahmed. The event will be transmitted live on Trust TV, and all participants must observe COVID-19 protocols and wear their face masks.
Get latest updates on current topical issues and breaking news by downloading the Trust TV mobile app on your Android devices. Go online, click Google Play Store, search Trust TV, install the app, and get doses of unfiltered information on happenings all over the world in your pocket. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at some of our top stories. Islamic State in West Africa Province, ISWAP, has launched multiple rocket attacks on Maiduguri, Borno State capital. And farmers, traders and other commuters are relying on rail transport system to move goods and services from Minna to Kaduna. Moving on to other stories now, Nigeria Immigration Service, NIS, has raised alarm about an imminent attack on Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, by foreign terrorists. This is contained in a leaked memo on Thursday, which was signed by a Controller of Immigration Service, Edrin Okoto, which the Public Relations Officer of NIS, Amos Okwu, confirmed its authenticity but expressed regrets of its leakage. According to the leaked memo, the attack is to happen between December 17th and December 31st, 2021, and task all controllers of immigration service in all the land, air and sea borders of the country. And the sector commander of the Border Patrol Corps said a planned attack is purportedly being led by one Dramane Ould Ali, aka Mohammed Ould Sidat, an Algerian national, to be assisted by one Zahid Aninon, a Nigerian national. The memo said that the foreigners who are planning to enter Nigeria from Mali through the Niger Republic have 4 accomplices who are already in the country, and directed personnel at the borders to intensify alert levels, place necessary countermeasures at all entries and exit points. Defense Headquarters says the troops of Operation Hatinkai and Hadarin Daji have eliminated at least 84 terrorists and bandits in the northeast and northwest in the last 2 weeks. The Acting Director, Defense Media Operations, Brigadier General Bernard Onyeko, stated this while giving an update on military operations across the country between December 9th and December 23rd on Thursday in Abuja. Under Operation Hatinkai, he said the troops' operational efforts resulted in the neutralization of 51 and arrest of 19 terrorists, as well as the surrendering of 1,081 terrorists and their families, comprising 187 adult males, 326 adult females, and 568 children. While under Operation Hadarin Daji, he said the troops had sustained land and air offensives against the bandits and other criminal elements at different locations across the Northwest Theatre, with a total of 33 bandits neutralized, while 19 of them and their collaborators, as well as armed herdsmen, were arrested, as well as 28 kidnapped civilians were rescued in the course of the operations. The family of late Sylvester Oromoni, a 12-year-old student of Doing College allegedly murdered in Lagos State, faults the bail granted to suspects by a magistrate court in Yaba. Trust TV's Onora Anwobodo reports that the father of the slain student, Sylvester Oromoni in Asaba, Delta State capital, queried the court's decision. The report.
Mr. Sylvester Oromoni, father of the slain student, wondered the rationale behind the bail when the 21 days request by the police for investigation is yet to elapse. He said releasing the suspects might hinder the investigation, noting that while the family is not against granting the bail, the court should have waited till the end of the 21-day period.
Now called Commissioner of Police Lagos State. He told me that they were not aware. That was the first. That they are not done with their investigation. I called the DCP in charge. He called his people too. And he later confirmed to me that the story is true. But it was a surprise to them that the same judge gave them 21 days that will expire on the 28th of this month. Because they requested for the mind order. They wrote to him and he granted them 21 days to keep those boys. Now, the 21 days has not expired. He granted them bail. He has his reason. The police are saying that they are not done with their investigation. That granting these boys bail will not help them in their investigation. They are getting more facts. And that they were even planning after the 21 days, if they are not done with their investigation, they will write for extension.
While calling for justice, the bereaved father disclosed that the autopsy results are ready and will be made public in due time. He alleged that the school authorities, in connivance with the parents of the accused, may be working against his quest in seeking justice for his late son.
I'm not questioning, I'm not a lawyer, but with what the family, the father is saying, if you should allow police to complete their investigation. At the autopsy, we, as a family, we contacted the police in Delta, area command, to be specific, and they carry out autopsy. And that one, the result is, except one, that they said that one will take some time. That one, as I'm talking to you, is with me. But we are not going to make it public because the Lagos State government, the family of the boys in school, they're also doing another one. We're also waiting for that one. But we have our own.
A Lagos State Chief Magistrate Court sitting in Yaba granted 5 Doing College students accused of the alleged assault and death of 12-year-old Sylvester Oromoni bail in the sum of 1 million naira. Honora Anwobodo for Trust TV.
River State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps is deploying 1,500 personnel to flashpoints, recreational and worship centers during Yuletide as part of its readiness in protecting locations where critical national assets and infrastructure are located in the state during the Christmas and New Year celebration. The report.
The state commandant, Aliyu Baturi, in a statement sent to newsmen, hereby assures the residents in the state of a hitch-free Yuletide celebration as adequate measures has been taken to nip in the bud any act capable of undermining the already established peace in the state. The commandant called on all residents in the state to report all matters that could escalate and hamper free movement of persons during the season for prompt redress. Commandant Bature said Peace and Conflict Resolution Unit has embarked on peace movement from word to word, encouraging residents to report cases that could escalate and degenerate into serious conflict to the command in time. Also, the Counter-Terrorism and Disaster Management Team of the command has since commenced surveillance patrol around the state to ensure no security breach of any kind occurs during the celebration. The NSCDC boss advised residents to avoid the storing of adulterated, illegally refined petroleum products as well as the use of adulterated DPK in residential areas to avoid fire disasters.
And still staying in Rivers State, a campaign to take COVID-19 vaccine in Rivers State to prevent the spread of the pandemic is now targeting motor parks in Port Harcourt due to traffic of travellers for the Yuletide celebration. Rivers State government is targeting to vaccinate a substantial number of residents against the virus. The report.
The state government, through its Primary Healthcare Development Board and Rivers Media for Health, are taking the COVID-19 campaign to the Abali Motor Park, popularly called Mile 1 Park in Port Harcourt, towards getting some of the drivers, market women and residents vaccinated. Some of the drivers and residents vaccinated during the advocacy stressed the need for people to take the vaccine and stop being misled by misconceptions about the pandemic. They also advise other residents who are yet to get vaccinated to do so for the safety of people in the state and the country at large.
Like often, when I've not taken it, I normally get this malaria symptom often every time. But since I took that vaccine, I feel different.
You heard that if you want to travel, you without this vaccine at the pass, there is nothing for you. Likewise, in federal level, you heard that if you don't have it, there is no office for you. There is no room for you to enter your office. And moreover, you know Nigerians something, they do it in a way that it will cost you effort by not getting it. Not like NIN, all those kind of things. So my reason why I'm taking it is because if I happen to travel or look for a job, I don't want to be shocked.
I'm normal. I don't feel differently. I feel normal, And I also advise everybody to go ahead and take the vaccine because for the sake of the person's health.
Advice to people is for them to go and take it because they say prevention is better than the cure, so it's good for people to take it.
Well, other ones are taking did not die, so I will take which I will not die. That's why I take. This is my first dose.
I come here because see it's working. That's why I come here to collect it. Somebody directed me to come. That's why I have to come here, come and collect it. My brother, I want to tell them, may they collect it because it's very good in health. In case of tomorrow, it covers some certain environment where come to you, catch sickness, it covers sickness. It's very good.
Trust TV reports that the sensitization campaign is aimed at helping the state meet the target of 50% vaccination of the population by January 2022 and educate residents on the myths and misconceptions about the COVID-19 vaccine.
Meanwhile, prices of food, items and other essential commodities are going high ahead of Christmas and New Year celebration. Trust TV's Idris Jibril visits some markets in Kano to see how people are preparing to mark this year's Christmas amidst increasing high cost of living.
This place is known as Yankura Market, an offshoot of the popular Abubakar Rimi Market in Sabongari, perhaps the main market used by residents of this Christian-dominated Sabongari area of Kano metropolis.
See, before, the 20th of December, you know, if you pass this road. But now, it can run. Here is Yankura. Even ordinary day, Before you pass this road, it's very, very difficult. But now I can see Christmas is approaching. See everybody. We are coming and pick one or two things because of the situation now. People are suffering.
No money to buy food. People are not happy. If before you see people walking around, that shows that things are going well. But nothing is going well. Even we put on the table, we will not see people to come and buy. Things are very hard. We are not happy at all.
From fresh tomato to other vegetables, grains to other essentially consumed agricultural products, the supply is always steady here as demand continues to increase, with some items usually cheaper compared to other markets.
Are saying 300 or 350, 400. Pharmacists like us, we cannot pay it.
So in other words, everything is hard in every aspect.
Yes, because they are saying that tax is too much for them.
Shop.
Then shop rent now, I used to pay before 20,000. The owner of this my shop now is collecting 50,000 naira. This is attached, not full shop. I'm paying 50,000.
Correct. Now, as I'm talking to you, some people don't have money to even put rice on top fire. Some don't have. In the aspect of ugu, before we normally have ugu, now there is no ugu. The thing is very scarce and it's cost. So some people cannot buy it. Ugu was 15 naira before, now it's 100 naira. Some people don't have that 100 naira to buy.
This continued and uninterrupted hike in price of food items is threatening the purchasing power of the people as they set out for yet another important religious celebration in Christianity.
Situation in the market that things are very hard. Men is supposed to travel in this season, but because of things are very hard in the market, we are not selling. Sure, to buy is very difficult. Things are very hard. As for people, for myself, I don't have something to give my children because I am not making it. I really am making it, at least I will buy some clothes for my children. But up to now, I have nothing to buy for them. I have nothing to give to my children.
The idea I'm seeing is that when you buy something today, maybe you come next week, you see addition of another 200 naira or 500 naira. And some places, some other 100 naira, according to the product people are selling.
Although all things relating to present high cost of living in many parts of Nigeria appeared disturbing, many people are still hopeful as they wait for change. And while they wait, their suffering may likely continue to increase. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Several shops, stores and other structures have been destroyed as a midnight fire destroyed property worth millions of naira in Bauchi Market. Adam Mushehu visits the site of the inferno as victims continue to recount their losses.
The midnight fire that gutted a section of the popular Mudalawal market in Bauchi State, as owners of the shop indicated that the fire started very late in the night of Wednesday and burned to ashes till the early hours of Thursday, before it was put out by the combined effort of the firefighters and other individuals at the scene.
Wallahi dukiya dai kawai asaran da aka yi babu adadi don an ce maka kaza ne wannan na maka kada don jiya.
We lost a lot of property that could not be ascertained now. Me and my friend, we uploaded goods worth 5,000 each just yesterday. It's a destiny. God has already destined to happen to us. But cost of the inferno, we don't know. From here, back to the shop, all gutted by fire. Goods worth 4.5 million naira lost here. Only God can provide us.
So also, one of the victims says properties worth millions destroyed as a result of the inferno, noting that this is not the first time of fire incident at the same building in the same year.
This is the biggest loss we ever witnessed here, more than the one we experienced the last time at this place.
Officials of the market, when contacted, confirmed the fire incident and further gave advice to shop owners, expressing that this is an act of God.
Lack of capital coupled with economical hardship compounded all issues here. But this is a test from God. No one will be advised before it happens.
su shine duk lokacin da dan adam yake rayuwa dama Allah ya turo mu duniya ne domin ya jarraba mu kuma ba za a yi shawari da kai kan cewa ga bangaren da Allah zai jarrabe ka ba.
However, market officials opine that they will give further details to the authorities as they are still taking stock of what could be done at the right time. Effort to get comment from the State Fire Service proved abortive as public relations officer is not on seat at the time of filing the report. Adamu Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. The news continues after this break. The board and management of Media Trust Limited invites the general public to its annual Daily Trust Dialogue, themed 2023, The Politics, Economy and Insecurity. Date, 20th January 2022. Location, NAF Conference Center and Suites, Abuja. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Chairman of the occasion, former Head of State, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, GCFR. Guest Speaker, Governor of Kaduna State, Malan Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai. Guest Speaker, Governor of Ebonyi State, Engineer David Umahi. Guest Speaker, former Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mrs. Ifueko Omoigui Okauru. Moderator, Executive Director, Daria Media Nigeria Limited, Kadaria Ahmed. The event will be transmitted live on Trust TV, and all participants must observe COVID-19 protocols and wear their face masks. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Former military president Ibrahim Babangida has endorsed Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo as presidential candidate for 2023. The former leader made the endorsement when Oshibanjo grassroots organization visited him in his uphill residence. He said Oshibanjo should stay on course, be resilient and contest for the presidency in 2023, describing the vice president as a good man who has conviction about Nigeria. Babangida told the group that he accepted to speak to them because he believes Oshibanjo has what it takes to be a good leader. Meanwhile, Nigeria and other key African countries are told to show more than interest in Libya's return to democratic rule after the fall of its leader, Muammar Gaddafi. Libya is set for election Friday after a decade of political turmoil. An academic and a diplomatic analyst gave the advice in an exclusive interview with Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman. The report.
Libya has been in political turmoil since ouster of its strongman Muammar Gaddafi. Its raging political instability has implications on the security, economy and political developments in the Sahel and other African countries like Nigeria. Speaking on why Nigeria should be interested in the political stability of Libya, Dr. Abubakar Kari of the University of Abuja and an ex-diplomatic official, Ilyas Sagadu, warned that allowing the country to drift further into anarchy will spell doom not only for the neighboring countries, but the entire region.
Because the collapse of Libya, or the kind of anarchy in Libya, has unleashed all sorts of forces, criminal forces, warlords, arms contractors, smugglers, and so on and so forth, that are destabilizing the entire region.
In fact, even our president, alluded to that fact at some point, where he said that, some of the weapons and some of the fighters that are now, engaged in fighting the Nigerian security forces in northeast and other parts of Nigeria actually have training and weaponry from Libya.
The duo also picked holes in the roles being played by regional and continental powers in resolving the crisis rocking the oil-rich nation, in spite of its implications on the stability of the region.
Nigeria must demonstrate leadership by insisting that the African Union and Africa as a continent insists that the Libyan problem should be solved. And it should do that beyond mere rhetoric. If it is possible, the African Union should also commit forces there.
The people who actually overthrew the Gaddafi regime in Libya did not actually provide us with a roadmap for democratic, rejuvenation in Libya, and it's quite unfortunate because they allowed the situation in Libya to lapse into what we're seeing today. Very unfortunate.
Amid deepening uncertainty ahead of a scheduled election earlier slated for the 24th of this month, as provided for by the country's electoral law, the Libyan parliament confirmed a postponement in line with technical, judicial and security reports available to it without announcing a new date. Shapir Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Imo State House of Assembly on Thursday suspended 3 lawmakers of the Imo State House of Assembly. The suspension took place on the floor of the House following the announcement made by the Speaker, Kennedy Ibe, that the lawmakers, Arthur Egwim, Ideato North, Ngozi Obiefule, Isu, and Obinna Okwara Nkwere remained suspended. The reason given is that when Governor Hope Uzodimma presented the 2022 budget, the House promised to give it accelerated hearing, but the 3 lawmakers ignored to participate in the sitting, which got the Speaker angry, leading to their suspension. On the declaration of the seat of a member represented Ngo Okpala Tochi Okere vacant, the House said the lawmaker has been absent for a period of over 1/3 of the sitting period in a year, which automatically attracts the declaration of the lawmaker's seat vacant and calling for an election to take place in the next 90 days. However, tension rose in the House of Assembly as supporters of the suspended lawmakers from their different constituencies said they will protest against the suspension of their representatives at the State House of Assembly. The federal government has attributed the epileptic power supply in the country to little attention paid to the development of the sector in the past. The Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, stated this at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by Vice President Yemi Ashibanjo at the Presidential Villa. The minister, whose 16 memos to boost power supply were all approved by the council, said the present administration has done more than any other to ensure that Nigerians enjoy improved supply of electricity.
Supply industry is to be able to evacuate sufficient electricity and distribute them. That is to say, we have a very weak transmission grid and distribution segment of the value chain. We may not be having much problem with generation. So unless we are able to strengthen the electricity grid, which is nationwide, and to expand and to be able to evacuate what the grid can take to consumers, we have a lot of problems ahead of us. So what we are doing currently through various and several interventions, is to be able to repair the grid by constructing new transmission lines, bringing in new equipments to replace the old ones at our substations, so that we will release more capacity to the distribution and leading to the customers.
Now let's join Chamun Dabeng for business news.
Paul Adaliku has been announced as the Executive Secretary of the Maritime Organization of West and Central Africa, MOCA. This follows his unanimous acceptance by the Ministers of Transport and members of the body, and expected to run the organization's affairs for the next 4 years from its headquarters in Abidjan. President of Nigeria Private Sector Alliance, Adetokunbo Kayode, on behalf of the National Association of Chambers of Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA, the Federation of West African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, FAWACHI, and the Pan-African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, in a statement felicitated with Nigeria and the Ministers of Transportation for ensuring the emergence of Adaliku as the Executive Secretary. Federal government has launched a 30 billion naira infrastructure intervention to drive the growth of the sugar subsector. The drive, launched by President Muhammadu Buhari, is tagged Presidential Intervention on Irrigation Infrastructure to Accelerate Sugar Backward Integration Program Projects, BIP. The President said the goal of the intervention is to support the development of irrigation infrastructure on 10,000 hectares of sugar plantations located at 6 BIP sites, namely Numan, Adamawa State, Sunti, Niger State, Lafiagi, Kwara State, Bachita, Kwara State, Toto and Tunga, Nasarawa State. Recall at the event, President Buhari, represented by the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Niyi Adebayo, said the implementation of the structures would enhance rural jobs, as the recommendation stated that 10% of the total allocation to each BIP operator would be reserved for sugarcane outgrower farmers within the community. National Directorate of Employment NDE has disbursed 5 million naira loans to 50 women in Enugu after they were trained on food processing, interior decorations, and event management and makeover and gele hetai tying. At the opening ceremony of the solar energy training on Wednesday, the NDE Enugu State Coordinator Donatus Azubike, who represented the Director General, National Directorate of Employment NDE Abubakar Fikbo, said the training is replicated in all 36 states of the Federation and Abuja. Meanwhile, representative of the Director's Small Scale Enterprises Department, Carol Elua, said there is a 6-month moratorium before they can start repaying the 100,000 naira loan that each beneficiary got. The women were trained under the Women Empowerment Collaboration Scheme WEX platform, with each beneficiary getting 100,000 naira to put their skills to practice. That's all for business news. I am Chamun Dabeng.
And on the foreign scene, European Union diplomat Enrique Mora says negotiations to revive a 2015 nuclear deal signed between Iran and world powers will resume on Monday in Austria's capital, Vienna. The announcement comes amid warnings that the landmark agreement will become obsolete within weeks if Iran continues to step up its nuclear activities, as it has been doing since 2019. Negotiations restarted in November after a 5-month hiatus to try to resolve the deal, which is to offer Iran sanctions relief in exchange for curbs in its nuclear program. The 7th round concluded last week, where some modest gains were reported. Iran maintains its nuclear program is peaceful and it wants to develop only a civilian nuclear capability. But Western powers says its stockpile of enriched uranium goes well beyond that and could be used to develop a nuclear weapon. Russian President Vladimir Putin says Russia and China trust each other, and their cooperation is a stabilizing factor in the international arena. Putin said this on Thursday at the annual end-of-year news conference in Moscow. The report.
China is our #1 partner, and we work in a lot of fields together in energy sector. We work together with the nuclear energy and high-tech in the space exploration and all kind of tracks and high-tech tracks as well. And we worked in humanitarian areas as well. So we organize trust years of the youth development, of science and research, the culture years, so on and so forth. And that brings us closer together, even at the basic level in humanitarian area. We cooperate in security. That's truly a strategic partnership. There has been nothing like that in history, at least between Russia and China. And it takes work, daily work, hard work, and it benefits both Chinese and Russian people. And it serves as a stabilizing factor for the international arena as well.
And now let's join Adeni Ajishafe for the latest sports news.
Hello and welcome to Sport News. Bafana Bafana of South Africa could be opportune to participate in the 33rd edition of the African Cup of Nations in Cameroon, despite crashing out during the qualifiers. Former champions were best placed behind Zimbabwe during the qualifiers, and they are in the best position to replace Zimbabwe. Presently, Zimbabwe is facing disqualification from the competition following the dissolution of their football federation, which is against FIFA rule. World Soccer Governing Body FIFA instructed Sport Recreation Commission (SRC) to return Zimbabwe Football Association (ZIFA) board that was illegally dissolved. Sport Recreation Commission (SRC) head Kirsty Coventry says they are ready to face this disqualification, and if it stands against stipulated time, Bafana could step in. Federation of Cameroon Football (FECAFOOT) under the new leadership of Samuel Eto'o has intensified preparations of the Indomitable Lions ahead of the competition. Since his assumption of office, the former Barcelona striker has continued to work hard to ensure a decent outing for the host. With 17 days to this competition, the football body has become the first country to release the final list of 28 players that will represent the country. The list have regular faces like Christian Basogog, Choupo-Moting, Ngadu Michael, Toko Ekambi, Abubakar Vincent, Injay Clinton, and returning goalkeeper Andre Onana. Indomitable Lions will play the opening game against Stallions of Burkina Faso at the Olembe Stadium on the 9th of January. Meanwhile, Ghana head coach Milovan Rajivert has named a 30-man provisional squad for the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations tournaments to be staged in Cameroon. Black Stars are drawn in Group C alongside Morocco, Comoros, and Gabon. Arsenal midfielder Thomas Partey headlines a squad that also includes brothers Andre and Jordan Ayew. Ajax Amsterdam midfielder Mohamed Kudus. It is uncertain if he will be fit in time for the opening game on the 10th of January due to injury. AS Roma teenager Felix Afeagyan also made a cut, and it remains to be seen if he will make himself available for the African showpiece, having previously turned down a call-up citing a personal lack of experience. Orlando Pirates goalkeeper Richard Ofori is among the list of notable omissions. Ofori has struggled with injury of late and has not played for the Buccaneers since the end of August. It is unclear why Joseph Aido and Jeffrey Schlupp failed to receive a call-up, while Southampton defender Mohamed Salisu made himself unavailable for the tournament. 30-man squad are set to meet in Doha, Qatar for a training camp in coming days in preparation for next year's showpiece. Manchester City defender Benjamin Mendy has been charged with a 7th count of rape. Mendy accused of series of sex offenses with a further count of rape subject to reporting restrictions. The restrictions were lifted on Wednesday as Mendy appeared at Chester Crown Court for a hearing ahead of the trial next year. Charge relates to a new complainant and is alleged to have taken place in July 2021. Mendy is now accused of 8 offenses against 5 different women, including 7 counts of rape relating to 4 women. The earlier charges are 3 counts of rape, alleged to have happened on October 11, 2020. Sexual touching on January 2, 2021, 1 count of rape on July 24, 2021, and 2 counts of rape on August 23, 2021. Mendy is appearing alongside his co-defendant Louis Saha Matuiri of Hercules, Greater Manchester, who is also accused of serious sex offenses against young women. The French international has been in custody since his arrest on August 26th. Both men were remanded into custody at HMP Old Course, Liverpool, after a 40-minute hearing where their trial scheduled for January was put back to later in the year. That's Sport News. I am Adeniyi Ajisafe.
And just before we go, a mobile petrol station located at Nnamdi Azikiwe University temporary site, Awka, Anambra State capital, on Tuesday went up in flames. 2 vehicles and 3 motorcycles were burnt at a fuel explosion that rocked the mobile police station, the mobile petrol station. The building housing the petrol station was also razed in the inferno. Daily Trust gathered that the fire incident occurred in the afternoon when the truck laden with petrol was discharging at the station. Our reporter also learned that the fire incident started when a tanker had discharged its content and withdrawing the hose that suddenly broke out in flames. And that wraps up Trust TV News Hour for tonight. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for joining us.
My name is Sadiq Mohammed. I was coming back from school. Then I was not looking at the road. Then a trailer hit me.
This is Moko, a small Bagi-dominated village in Dutsen Alhaji, Abuja, Nigeria. It is a commercial hub for rock breaking, which explains the presence of tipper trucks within the vicinity moving rock fragments. This is the road that led to Sadiq losing his limbs.
I was taken to hospital and then they took me sleeping injection. Don't sleep. I stayed home for 6 months before going back to school. My dad used to work in Kwari. Yeah. So anytime they work, they used to pay him 2,000, 1,000. Then we used to drop it and they would pay for our school fees.
My name is Raina Mohammed. I'm from Nasarawa State, Doma local government. So it's my son Sadiq Mohammed. It's 2013, December on 6. Just coming back from school, earlier primary school, Muko. So the 10th I come, if I break, come matcha. The rest I go Kubwa General Hospital. So from there they come on one leg from Kubwa General Hospital, they enter strike. From there we go PW. After Mr. B for Kubwa Federal House. They come on the second line for private hospital. From there we come back for Kubwa Hospital. We stay there from December 2014, April we come back to home. So from there we start the school. They slug the go. Anything next. Sometimes people they help me to buy in bicycle spoil. People then they help me to buy the bicycle. So I even carry the matter, go in Belembe to help me. I car tire from there. I come as I no have money to go there again. I spend money tire, I can't stop to go there. Even for the house rent where I dey, now I go for 3 years now. I never have money to pay for the house rent. So now my landlord give me quick notice to come out for the house. I just begging to help me this December time. Anything I have it, I'll give to him.
With the help of his sister who helps locomote Sadiq, we visited the place where he learns shoemaking.
We make shoe and palm.